supposed to sleep when you stroking on my cactus. It wouldn't hurt if you check it. Looking in the mirror, baby, you know you a jasmine. Hit your streets like Aladdin. Let me plant a seed, bet your pussy looking floral. Get so deep I hit the core. I can rock the arc after dark when it's pouring. It won't cease till the morning.
It's time. It's finally time to talk about my cacti, to make a video about my cacti. You know, if you've been following me on Twitter or just really Discord, you know that I just love talking about my cacti. But I kept saying to myself, hey Riggy, you gotta make a video on these guys. But I never really got around to it until now, finally. I think last year I tried to actually make it into like a really decent video, but it just rained on me, so I wasn't able to do it. This whole week it was raining, but finally we got an opportunity for me to make this video, so it's gonna be a little complicated. The audio's not gonna be that great because I don't have a microphone with this camera. Also with this camera, it's the infamous defocused camera. If you remember the old videos, sometimes they'll show my face very blurry. Yeah, it's this camera. But anyways, I'm gonna give you guys a little close-up on these guys. You know, instead of just panning here left and right, give you a little money shot of my cacti. Let's start things off with my my Western prickly pear. This was actually a gift from a nice lady from Walmart. She was working the cashier, and she noticed every week whenever I went to do some groceries that I would buy myself a cactus. And so she was like, hey there kid, you want a cactus? I was like, hell yeah, I do. So I think like 2 weeks later she actually brought this Opuntia to me, and I was like, oh, finally I get to have an Opuntia. It's not the one specifically that I want. I think the one that I want is the eastern, the western or northern, I have no idea, but it's the prickly pear that actually likes to stand. This one will actually tend to want to droop, which I don't necessarily have a problem with, but I prefer it if it were standing, you know. And I just noticed just now as I'm looking at this, I'm not sure if I can zoom in correctly on this, but as you can see right there, that's new growth. That is new growth, and there's also new growth down there as well on that pad, so that's actually really nice. These guys actually have roots. Some of them in this pot actually don't have roots, they're just cuttings, because I had to cut it because it wasn't looking too great, but with the new growth coming out, I can actually see that it's actually doing very well, especially with the heavy rain that came along, so that's great. I'm really happy with that. Next up on the list is the bear paws cactus. Ironically, this is not a cactus. I knew that when buying it, because someone first originally told me that this is one quirky looking cactus, and I did some research on it. It's not a cactus, unfortunately. It's a succulent, which a thing you need to know about succulents and cacti is this. It's like a very easy rule to follow, all right? All cacti are succulents, but not all succulents are cacti, right? So I usually collect cacti. I usually stick with cacti. I have like maybe 2 succulents, maybe 3, actually 3 succulents in my collection. But this guy's just too cute. He's honestly too cute, and I was like, you know what? I have to get him. He's too adorable. I just can't not have him, you know? The great thing about this guy, well, obviously the reason why it's called a bear paw cactus is because the pads that it has looks like little bear paws, little cute little paws. When it gets exposed to a lot of sun, the little tips will actually start to get like a little red tint to them, which, you know, kind of looks like the little claws of the bear. So it's really nice. This guy actually has a grand tendency to stretch out a little bit, so I have to keep it in full sun or else it'll start to stretch, which that is called exfoliation, and that is something you don't want in your cacti, so I try to keep it in the sun as much as possible, because inside it just doesn't want to grow correctly. I don't know why. Like, you would think that a south-facing window would be great, which I would recommend. If you have a south-facing window, you don't want to put your cacti outside for some reason. That would be great. But even with my south-facing window, it doesn't really work. So I have to keep it outside, or else it'll start to stretch. Now, I don't know the ID of this cacti per se, but it looks really quirky. Kind of looks like what do you call it, like 3-leaf clover, something like that. Is it 4-leaf or 3-leaf? I actually don't remember. But I really like the look of this guy. It's a crested cacti. This is actually like a mutant variant of the original cactus. So I just looked at it and I was like, you know what? It looks really nice. Also, it's in a llama pot as well, which I really enjoy. You know, I keep posting this one on Reddit. Everyone's just like, oh, it's a llama pot. Gets me a lot of karma. But for the most part, I just like this cactus. It's a really nice looking one. I wish I knew the ID. I think it said on the pot, but it's been a while since I actually looked at it properly, so I completely forgot. Now this one here is called a moon cactus. Now what's weird about this cactus is it's grafted. And what that means is you take two plants and you put them together to make one. It's pretty weird. It's a weird little combination of man's mistake. I'm not the biggest fan of this cactus, to be completely honest. I never really liked the whole grafted idea. It's not that I think it's cruel or anything, I just don't like it. But here is I remembered for a second of the scientific name of the top one, but this here is a dragon fruit right here, the dragon fruit cactus right here, and this one's a completely different one. So these make for really great stalks for growing different kinds of cacti, but usually when people do that, what they want is for the cactus on top to grow at a faster rate, because when you graft that top cactus with the bottom cactus, this part right here stops growing. It just feeds into this one. So whenever I see this start to sprout out little roots, not roots, but like offsets, like little cactus pups, I'll know that there's something wrong with that one, from what I can tell. I think I've seen some pictures of, you know, the top looking fine while also growing out shoots. It's weird. But for the most part, not my favorite. I, for the longest of time, remembered the name of this cactus, but now that I'm trying to remember it, it's kind of, you know, slipped my mind. But this is a really nice one. This one is a monstrous variant. This is a crested variant. These two are both variants, or both mutants of the original. Also this one as well, which is a Ming thing. Well, actually no, I think the Ming thing is its own thing. It's a weird, quirky one. But I really like how this one looks. I think the original cactus is a columnar cactus, which looks more like that, but less spiny. But I really like how this one looks because it just has little lumps on it, a lot of lumps as well. I just think it looks really nice. And then, of course, we have the Ming thing. I originally had a Ming thing in my collection, in my beginning collection. It unfortunately rotted this year. I think it's due to because I gave it water, gave it too much water earlier in the season, and it didn't really like that, so it died on me, which is really depressing because when I originally got it, it was abused. Like, good lord, it was abused. Like, the roots were coming outside the topsoil. Some parts were like coming off. It was a bad side. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take my chances. I'm gonna try to get this cactus, try to revive it. And for the most part, for a beginning grower or a beginning connoisseur or whatever the hell you want to call it, I did pretty good. I think it lasted at least a year or two before it actually died on me. So, I mean, for the most part, for anything, yeah, I think I did pretty decent. But I decided to get a second one, and I just really like how this one looks as well. A lot of people like to call this one the butthole cactus for obvious reasons, but the actual name, or the common name that everyone uses for the most part, is the Ming thing. I think this one is the old man cactus. This little small one right here to your left is the old man cactus. Let me see if I can try to pick this guy up. I'm very hesitant to pick up my cacti because there are jumping spiders, and the last thing I want is to get scared by them. They don't attack per se. They actually run away, but they're the residents of my cacti here. But as you can see here, this is the old man cactus. It used to have a red top to it, but for some reason it doesn't have it anymore. I think it's like hidden. Oh no, you just can't see it in the camera. I think the light just doesn't want to show it, but that's the old man cactus. Soon it'll actually grow bigger and taller, but right now it's in its baby form. And then here is the, actually don't know what cactus that is actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I never really got an ID on it. Actually no, I did at some point on Reddit, but Nah, I don't remember it. I honestly don't remember it. Another cactus that I have completely forgotten the name of, which is kind of unfortunate. You know, you would think that I would know all the names of my cacti, but unfortunately I don't. The weird story about this cactus is when I first got it, it did not want to grow. Like, it showed no signs whatsoever of growth. And I honestly thought I got myself a dud. You know, I started hating on Lowe's. Like, Lowe's, you got some really bad cacti. Because these two actually came from Lowe's, and they showed no growth whatsoever. But this year, if I remember correctly, this little lump that you see right here was not there. So that lump is new growth. So, awesome. Great. We got new growth for this quirky little cactus here. I think if I want to try to name it, I think it's the Golden Torch Cactus. Or, I'm pretty sure it's the Golden Torch. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But this one here is the Toothpick Cactus. Now, you can probably guess why it's called the Toothpick Cactus, because, you know, the little, well, not the little, the big spines, yeah, they're pretty huge. I actually moved this cactus to a new pot, because originally it was in a little pot, a little blue one, that was, you know, made out of ceramic, and when I repotted it, the roots looked really healthy. Like, there was actually a really thick root, like, just like starting to form on the surface of the bottom of the pot. And I was like, okay, I think that's a sign that we need to get you a new pot. So I finally switched it up to a bigger pot, this time made out of terracotta, which, by the way, I would highly recommend you get all your plants in terracotta pots, because it's just a better choice, honestly, because it allows the water to evaporate a little bit quicker, which is especially important for cacti, because they do not like to be wet for long periods of time. Because if you put them in soil that's not well draining, and the soil stays wet for a long time, it will actually cause the cactus to rot. You know, you would think that the cactus is really resilient, which it is, but it has weaknesses, and ironically, the thing that gives it life can also give it death, so there you go. Now, this one is the Old Lady Cactus, the old hairy cactus. The little humps that you see on top of those little tops there, they weren't originally there, so that's the new growth. I really like this one because it's very hairy, but I don't try to touch it too much because it actually has spines underneath the little hairs. So if you want to try to touch the fluff, most likely you're going to touch the spines as well, which, you know, they don't hurt per se, but if you, oh, there you go, there you go, God. If you put a lot of, or just like slight amount of pressure in the wrong way, you'll get pricked, and it's not very fun. Not fun at all. This one's a weird one, because this one is the Madagascar Octolio. Not a cactus, believe it or not, it's actually a succulent. It's a type of euphorbia, if I remember correctly. These kinds kind of look like palm trees, like your typical palm trees, but I just love the look of it so much that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. It looks really nice. It looks really sweet. I just love how the little leaves are forming on the cactus, or not on the cactus, on the plant itself. I just think it looks really cool. During the winter time, these guys will actually lose the leaves, and they will, you know, they'll kind of look dead. You know, they act like regular trees if you think about it. You know, like during the fall they start to drop the leaves and stuff like that. They don't turn orange or anything. They just like dry up and then just fall off. But for the most part, I really love this plant. It just looks really nice, and you know, hopefully it'll grow bigger. It'll actually get like huge. Believe it or not, it'll actually get really huge. So if I am able to actually take care of it well, maybe when I'm, I don't know, 40 or 30, this guy will actually be looking like a proper tree. Now this here is a cholla. I don't know what specific kind of cholla, but I'm pretty sure it's a cholla. Chollas really have a notorious name to them because they have spines that just love to stay on you, or actually stick to you. They have like these what do you call them, like backward spines, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I'm not 100% sure, but like these spines actually love to stick to you, because like when you get pricked by a regular cactus spine, you know, you just go ouch and pull back and nothing really is going to happen. But when you stick yourself with this particular cactus, you'll want to come along with you. So, you know, I try my best not to touch this one because it will try to stick to me. Oh, I guess the spines are barbed. There you go. The spines are barbed, so, you know, when they make contact with the skin, it's going to stay there for a little bit. But they're not as annoying as Glockids, which, again, I'll get into that in just a minute. Actually, the next plant right here has Glockids, but for the most part, the growth on this one's really weird. I'm almost tempted to say it's exfoliated, but from what I've seen of other images of this exact plant, exact cactus, it's basically, it looks the same thing. It looks the same way, so it might be normal growth, or just the fact that this one really demands a high amount of sun. But for the most part, I think it looks nice. Originally, when I first got it, it looked completely different from what you see right now. But, you know, I still like it. It still looks nifty. Now, this one is called the paper spines cactus for specific reasons, because, you know, the spines in this one actually feel like paper. As you can see right here, you know, it's not hard or anything. If you know, if I were to prick myself with it, I'm not going to hurt myself whatsoever, no. But there is a danger. There is a danger to this cactus because it has Glockids, which I talked about with this cactus right here, which it doesn't have Glockids, but this one, and a couple more cactus that I have, they do have Glockids. But Glockids, what they essentially are small little cactus spines that if you rub up against them, they will stick to you. They will stick to you and they will irritate your skin. It is a nightmare to deal with them. Like, whenever I try to repot my cacti, ooh, man. Man, oh man, oh man. Like, I love my Apuntias, alright? My Apuntias are legendary, but, God, every time I try to repot them, the spines, the little Glockids stick to the gloves, and they somehow manage to go through the gloves into my skin. And I have to spend a couple of hours having to find the spines because they're small. They're small. I would even dare to say that they're microscopic, but you can feel them. You can feel them. And I have to find them to get rid of them because, man, dealing with them for like a long period of time, it's annoying. It's honestly really annoying. Now this one is called the Mona Lisa cactus. Don't ask me why. It's called the Mona Lisa cactus. I literally have no idea why they even considered calling it the Mona Lisa. This one's another Apuntia as well. As I said before, I have a lot of Apuntias in my collection. But I really like the look of this one. I think it looks really nice. You know, it's not extraordinary unique, but it does its job. You know, I think it looks pretty nifty, a little swifty here and there. I love the pads. I think this one has Glockids or just miniature spines, but I just saw it and I was like, you know what? I have to have it in my collection. This one right here is a survivor. Let me tell you, last year, actually this year, it was suffering with a problem where it wasn't getting enough water because I was, you know, it went through winter, the winter phase where, you know, you're not supposed to give your cactus any water, or a little amount of, you know, water than usual. Because if you give it too much water during winter, it's either going to rot or it's going to want to grow, but it's not going to be good growth because the sun isn't as out or as often than summer, you know. So this guy right here started to fall apart on me, but thankfully I was able to revive him. And the remaining of the cactus is still doing really good. As you can see, the top has some growth there. Looks pretty nifty. It's looking a little weird. Granted, it's looking a little odd, a little not so poggeroonies. But you know, I can't complain. I can't complain, but I will complain about this cactus though, because I cannot zoom for it or focus on it for my life. But for the most, there we go. For the most part, yeah, it looks nice. It looks nifty. It's one of my favorites simply because it's, you know, it survived with me. I'm not sure it's gonna survive this winter, but we'll see. We'll see. I think if it could survive one winter, it can survive several. This is the Joseph Coates cactus. Ironically, has another common name it goes by, the dildo cactus. Don't know why it's called the dildo cactus. You know, like sometimes when you look at the names, the common names of cacti, you just gotta ask yourself, why did they name it that? I can understand Joseph's coat, but dildo cactus, kinda quirky, dude. I don't know. Whoever made the name was probably down bad. Oh, I literally was about to move on without talking about this. So the reason why it looks like this, like it has different colorations to it, is because it's variegated. If I don't remember correctly, just by looking at my plants, I think I only have 2 variegated plants. And again, the variegation just means it has different colorings. Like it has that little white splotches, the little yellowness tint to it. Because originally, this plant is usually just completely green, just like absolutely green. But for the most part, since it's variegated, they call it something else. So I had to get it because the little colors, the little light, quirky looking colors. Also, I noticed that they cut the cactus a lot, I think to make it pop out a little bit more. But I think I actually saw the original cactus when it wasn't cut at some point. But you know what? I can't complain. It's still alive. It's still great. It's still bopping, still booping. So I like it. This is the snow prickly pear. Very hairy. Very, very hairy indeed. I really enjoyed this one. As you can see, it kind of looks like it's atoliated. There's some parts of it that are atoliated, but that's how it grows. That's just how it grows. The snowy pear, for some reason, loves to grow in a weird way. It's just built different. You would think a cactus would grow something along the lines of this one, but no, it just decides, you know what, I'm just gonna go all the way up here with my hairy ass there. It's weird. It's honestly really, really weird. But I like it. I like its weirdness. The weirdness works for it. Now this is the emerald cactus, which as you can see here, these pads, if I am correct, these guys are actually atoliated. They're stretched out, which is really weird, extremely weird, because this cactus has been outside for a long time. It's been in shade, but it's outside, okay? Like, it'll get full sun, full direct sun if I put it somewhere around there, around that area over there. But I don't want that because cacti can actually get burned. They can actually get sunburns. I just don't want that. But for some reason, this cactus just decides to atoliate, which is, I don't know why. I just honestly don't know why. It still perplexes me to this day. Yes, it's in shade, but we are in a south-facing area of the house, so I don't know. It's weird. This one's just really weird. But I can't say it doesn't look good. Even with the stretched parts, it still looks nice, still looks somewhat normal. This one's the Argentine cactus, if I'm saying that name correctly. I think it might go by another name. But these pads that the Opuntia has are very thin, very paper-like. Kind of reminds me of chips. Just someone decided to make chips out of a cactus. They just mutated a chip in a cactus, and there you go. That's what you get. An Argentine cactus. Friendly reminder that all of these cacti right here, they're all Opuntias. I gotta remind myself to give you try to give you the name and then the actual species of the cactus, or genus. Genus? Species? I actually don't know. This one's a weird one. This one is a mutated version of this one, of this cactus actually. This one is the I can't remember the name. It's a bunny ears cactus, or yeah, I guess a yellow bunny ears monstrous. But the pads that it grows is very weird looking. It's kind of wirely, kind of curved almost. I actually had one originally in my collection, maybe like 2 years ago. It died on me. This one is actually the surviving remains of said cactus. I call this one the Tanta V4 because, for obvious reasons, it's a blockade runner. It escaped Darth Vader the first time from Rogue One. Not so lucky, the fourth movie in The New Hope. But, it's still surviving. It actually grew a pad, which is actually really cool. I was really happy when it shot out a little cactus pup. This one has glaucids. So I don't touch this one. This one also has glaucids as well. And if I remember correctly, this one hurts a lot to deal with. Some glaucids are not made equally, okay? Like, there are some glaucids that they're very easy to deal with, and then others, it feels like Satan himself is biting into your hand. It's really annoying. It honestly is. But at the end of the day, all glaucids are annoying to deal with. So I basically have 2 variants of the bunny ears cactus. This one is the yellow bunny ears cactus, or the orange bunny ears cactus. And this is the regular bunny ears cactus. This one is the oldest in my collection. I don't know how specifically old it is, but I think I've had this one since the beginning. essentially, which is kind of rare now because unfortunately, I think the majority of my original cacti have died on me. They've rotted, so extremely unfortunate. But with this guy, he's been really resilient with me. He's grown a lot, weirdly etoliated, but you know, he's still surviving. He's still there, or she's still there. You know, I think I named this one Haru. Here's some offsets from that one that I decided to grow, and they're doing pretty good. Again, a little etoliated for the most part. This one's the most recent one that I cut and put into soil. This one, like, I have tried to propagate cacti. Some were successful, some not so successful. This guy actually did fantastic. These two almost immediately started to pop after maybe like a week or so. So they're very happy to propagate like that. So if you have yourself a bunny ears cactus, I would highly recommend you, at some point cut it off and put it in soil, and then you have a new cactus. But back on the orange one here, this one's fairly new. I got this one this year, I think like 2 months ago maybe. But it's starting to grow again, so that's nice. As you can see, that pup right there. Took it a while. Took it a good fair amount of time to actually start to pup, but I'm happy to see that it's still alive. It's still vibing. This one is called the beaver tail cactus, and funny story about this one, I did not know it had glaucids. I treated it like a regular cactus. I started free-handing it kind of a little bit, besides the big spines there. But I didn't know it had glaucids, and then after like 15 minutes I realized, oh no, I have glaucids on me. It hurts. It's painful. But yeah, it's a nice looking cactus. It's an Apuntia as well. It's really nifty. Now this one, honestly, is one of my favorite cacti. It's a cacti that I've been searching for a long time. This one is the Dominos cactus, if I remember correctly, if I think I've ID'd this correctly. But this one's my favorite. This one is honestly one of my favorites because it was able to push out these big, beautiful flowers. I'll try to show some images on the screen right now, but my goodness, the flowers that this sucker will put out is amazing. Alright, it's absolutely outstanding. And I think right there, that little black spot, as you can see around here, this, I think, is the start of a new bud. I think this will be the last bud of the season before it'll go dormant, but I love this cactus. I really, really do. It came with a second one of this one, like a little baby version, but it died on me for some reason. I still don't know how. I think I might have introduced water a little too early because I did transplant the cactus to its own pot, which, if you don't know, whenever you transplant, I think any plant, I might be wrong on that one, but at least for cacti, if you move your cacti to a new pot, if you repot it, it would be best to not water it for a couple of days. I wait until 3 days. Some people wait like a week. But the reason you want to wait is because if you introduce water to the roots, which were just moved, you can put the cactus into shock. You can cause the roots to rot. It's very sensitive. You really don't want to mess with the roots of a cactus because it's very, very sensitive. Now this one's a hybrid, if I don't remember correctly. I don't know. I don't remember the specific cacti that it's hybrid with, but it's a combination between two cacti. This one will actually pop out some, I think, big flowers as well, if I don't remember correctly. This one's an Echinopsis, by the way. I'm pretty sure that one's an Echinopsis. This one's also... Oh, okay, so it's an Echinopsis with God, which one was it? An Echo Sirius? No. Man, I don't remember, but the flowers that this guy will put out should be really nice. And I'm kind of hoping that it will actually put out some offsets as well, because I love cacti that have multiple offsets on it, so hopefully maybe within 2 years it'll start to show signs of growth. These two right here are the same cacti, believe it or not. One was better taken care of, while the other one, not so much. You can probably tell which one I had first, and the other one, after a while, I actually know how to take care of them. This one's the first one that I have. This one, actually, these two are golden barrel cacti. It's not supposed to look like this one right here. This one is actually etoliated. It's looking a little funky. Kind of looks like a pineapple. My family actually calls it the pineapple, the piña.
It's a very quirky name, very fitting name actually for this cactus. But this is what it's supposed to look like. And within several years from now, it will actually get bigger, and it will get huge. Given like maybe 20 years, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but if I'm able to take care of it properly and not make it end up look like that, it will be very round, very huge. But I'm excited. I'm excited to actually take care of it very well. So whenever the time comes, whenever I move out, I can actually put this on the ground, and it will actually grow into a big, strong cactus. This one's another favorite of mine. I do have favorites in my collection. As cruel as that sounds, but this one is my favorite. This one is a mammillaria. It's an old lady cactus, and it flowered at one point. I just missed it, I think, but it did give me 2 fruits, which they have seeds in them, which I tried to grow, but I was very unsuccessful with them. But for the most part, this one's my favorite. I just really like how it looks. It was it was smaller originally, but this one just grew substantially, which I'm really happy with. Like, the new growth on it's very pleasing to see. This one's called the thimble cactus. This one really loves to propagate as well. I've had some trouble with this one actually, because originally I did have one way smaller than this one, and I thought at first it was rotten, but it's not. It didn't. So I kind of sacrificed that one to the wolves on accident. So I'm sorry, thimble cactus. God forgive me, God forgive me. I murdered a cactus. But for the most part, you see these little cacti, little cactus pups on the ground here. These don't have roots, as far as I'm aware. These don't have roots, because when I got this one, all of these are basically falling off in the pot. So I just put them on the ground, so hopefully they will grow, and they will be able to, become their own cactus as well. Now this one is a horrible case of exfoliation. This one is a peanut cactus, which ironically does not look like this. If you look at an original image of a peanut cactus, you can obviously tell there's a huge difference. A huge difference between them. For some godforsaken reason, this one just loves to exfoliate. If you don't put this in full sun, it will look like this. Alright, you might be lucky. You might try to correct it as soon as you see it, but this right here, this is a huge mistake. Alright, I even tried to pup it. It did great. It actually rooted. But as you can see, yeah, it's still exfoliated. Oh, look, a little spider. Hold on. Wait, come back, spider. There's a little jumping spider. Come back! No! No, I saw you for like 5 seconds. Those guys like to hang around my cacti. They're like my little guardians. No, come back! God, no! Oh man, I thought I was gonna show you. Oh, I thought. Wait! No, shoot. But yeah, this guy is very exfoliated. I still love him though. I still love him. I love him to death. He was actually the first cacti that gave me a flower. And how did I reward him? By allowing him to stretch. Hell yeah. God, I'm so terrible at taking care of my cacti. Here is yet another cactus that I have no idea the ID of. I'm pretty sure this one is wanting to rot as well, because the body of this cactus is a little too soft for comfort. So let me see if I try to poke it here. Okay, maybe not. I don't want to mess with it, because if I mess with it, I think I might actually cause it to rot. But if you're not sure if your cactus is healthy, the best way to check if it's alright is the roots. Like, uproot it and make sure everything is good. Like, if the roots look healthy, then it's fine. The cactus is fine. Or maybe at some point, the cactus is not fine. But for the most part, the telltale sign if your cactus is sick or rotten is the roots. Like, if the roots are squishy and brown, it means they're rotten. And I think there is a way to try to cut that back. I think you can just literally cut the rotten parts, and then maybe you can salvage the cactus. Or even cut the cactus in half. Cut the rotten part off and keep the healthy part. And you can try to put that in soil so it'll actually grow roots as well, which is great about these cacti. It's a very interesting way of survival. Like, these cacti, as I said in the beginning, are very resilient. I can cut any of these cacti in half, like this one right here. I just, rip off a little piece and do exactly what I did there, and boom, you got yourself another cactus. This one's a silver arrows cactus. This is one that I actually wanted for a while now, and I was able to get maybe like 4 months ago. I think back in January, if I don't remember correctly, maybe February. It had buds on it, but unfortunately they were not able to bloom for me, which is kind of depressing. But the cactus is still alive, he's still growing, which is really nice. Another Mammillaria. Don't know about that one. That one's an Echinopsis, if I don't remember correctly. That one's a Mammillaria. That one's I thought it was a Mammillaria, but it's not a Mammillaria. But this one's definitely a Mammillaria. I don't know the genus or the species name, but I know it's a Mammillaria. This one's also another Mammillaria. Like, if there's one thing you need to know about my collection is, like, they're made up of like the majority of the cacti here are Opuntias and Mammillaria. Like, just looking over there, like, yeah, it's literally all I have. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, yeah, it's Mammillaria and Opuntia. But this one right here, from what I've read, is prone to rot. It has not shown any signs of rot, but this light part right here is a sign of growth, which is fantastic. If you want to know if your cactus is growing, just look up the thorns. And actually, there's the spider. There's the spider. Hey there, dude. How you doing? Look at him. He's just vibing. Look at him. Ain't he cute? Oh shit, he's looking at me. What you doing there? Hey, what the dog doing? What the dog doing? What you doing there, fam? I don't think he likes us. God damn. I had to stop recording for a second, and he's still there. He's still there. He's still vibing. I don't think he likes us. I'm gonna scare him off. I don't want to hurt him anything, but shoo, go away. There you go. There you go. Off you go. I don't like spiders. I really don't. But when it comes to jumping spiders, they're the exception. Especially these guys, the little black ones that like to hang around my cacti. They're the exception. I don't try to kill them or anything because I truly believe they're there to protect my cacti. So I don't do anything to them. But this one right here, this cactus, is a... I think that one's the fishhook cactus. Maybe that one's the fishhook cactus. I don't know. But they look somewhat similar. I think this one's like a hybrid, but I really like how this one looks because it has a lot of pups around it, as you can see. It's very prone to clumping, which means just like the cactus will start to spread out with other miniature versions of itself. This one actually had a lot of flowers on it, which looked really nice. They're small flowers, they're nothing too grandiose, but I really like them. And I think next year, if this one survives, I am confident that we will have a super bloom with this one, which just means that I'll have a lot of flowers in one go with this cactus, which will be really nice. And then, of course, you have this one. This one had flowers as well. Not as prolific or not as flower prone, I guess, as this one. But it still had a nice flower to it. I like it. It was very nice, very nifty. But the spines on this one and this one as well, they're curved. So if it catches you, you might be in trouble. You might be in big trouble there. I think Femboy Fishing might like this one because, it's a little fishhook cactus. I also don't know the ID or the name of this cactus. All I know, it's a cactus. It's a round, quirky little cactus that I got from Lowe's for like $3. Was it worth the $3? Fuck yeah, you better believe it was worth $3. It hasn't shown any flowers or anything, but it survived. This one's a sad story. When I first got it, I thought it was rotten, starting to rot. So I cut it in half, which the head is actually right there, still surviving, I'm pretty sure. But I cut that one in half because I thought it was going to die, but no, it actually survived. It actually made a new pup, a new head, but I had to cut it off because it actually started to get soft on me. It was a little too soft, and from what I can tell from past experiences, that means the cactus could be rotten or starting to rot, so I just decided to take my chances and, cut the little head in half, or not half, or just cut it off from the body here. I'm going to be watching this one to make sure this one isn't going to die, but if it does, well, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, these guys originally came from the mother plant, which I called Moma, which was a rainbow burst cactus. It unfortunately rotted on me for some reason. I think the root system wasn't really that good. But for the most part, I was able to salvage a lot of pups. A lot of pups, actually. So these are 2. That's another one. That's another pup. And those are the rest of them. Which, unfortunately, they are exfoliated. As you can see, the little light green on the cactus, it's not supposed to be like that. So that just means they're exfoliated. But with a little bit more sun, I'm pretty sure they'll be fine. But these guys are here pretty healthy, which I'm really glad to see. So Momo lives on. Now, the only thing I know about this cactus is it will pop out, or actually push out, big flowers as well. And I'm pretty sure these are a kind of columnar cacti as well. I think these are, I actually don't know the name. It's Echo something. Echo Sirius or something along those lines. We're almost done with the collection. We just have these guys to show off. But this one, still don't know the ID. Man, like, I just realized I don't know, like, a lot about my cacti. Like, I figured out the names. Like, that's the first thing that I try to do, is I figure out the common name of the cactus. Now that I'm making a video about it, I just completely forgot the name of these. So that's not great. That's not very Poggeroonies. But I really like how this one looks. Very round, very soft. Not soft. I don't know why I said soft. This is like, you look at this cactus and the last thing you think is soft, alright? You try to touch this thing, it will hurt. Let me see. Let me do a little test, little poke test here. There we go. There we go. Yeah, with the slightest of touching, I can feel the pain already. Like, sometimes you can touch, say this one right here. Nope, wrong cactus. This one right here. Barely hurts. Barely hurts. If I put a lot of pressure to it, yeah, it's gonna hurt, obviously, but barely hurts. But this one right here, you slightly touch this one, it will kick your ass. All right, it will beat the living shit out of you. So I don't touch this one. There's some cacti that do not like to be touched, especially the Impuntias. The one with the Glockheads, I don't even look at them. All right, I don't even look at them in the eyes. You look at them in the eyes, it will throw their little Glockheads at you. It's not great. Not a fun time. But for the most part, that one hurts, but I still like it because it has roundness to it. I love round. And speaking of another round cactus, here's another round cactus that I don't know the name of. God almighty. Man, yeah, I'm no cactus pro at all. Like, if I were a true cactus pro, I could be telling you the scientific name, the common name, literally everything you need to know about this cactus. I think this one's a Perotea. If I don't remember correctly, this one has to be a Perotea. Has to be. 100%, without a doubt. Like, if you know any of the ID, any of the names of these cacti right here, do let me know in the comment section down below. I'm pretty sure my audience, the majority of them, don't know anything about cacti. But just in case you just, wanted to watch another video about cacti and you know something about them, do let me know. This one is another Mammillaria, which I thought looks really cool. I got 3 of them, not in the same pot. Well, no, I did get 3 of them in the same pot for $3. I think, honestly, the best place to get your cacti is at Walmart, especially in my area, because they don't come with flowers, the fake flowers, and for the most part, they come in good condition. There'll be some situations where they're not in good condition, but this one, I believe this one was in pretty great condition, because it's still alive, still great, still bopping, still booping. Yet another cactus that is round, and I do not know the ID of. This one, though, I think, unfortunately, this one is starting to rot as well. It's getting a little too squishy. Originally, when I first felt the cactus, the body was hard, but since the rain came along, which I've been told that it's probably not the reason why, it's just probably because I'm not very good at taking care of my cacti, which I would say that's wrong. It's not facts. I'm great at taking care of my cacti, but for some reason, some do not love to live. Like, after a month, they will die. And it is so depressing. Not really. Like, if my bunny ears over there decide to kick the bucket, I would not be happy at all. I'd be like, man, life sucks. But this one, I think I'll be fine if this one dies. I've had this one since March. I got it for my birthday. But I will be watching this one as well to make sure it's not dying on me. This one, though, I do think I know the name. It's the double tongue-forked cactus? Something along those lines. Devil tongue something. What the dog doing? But yeah, it's a cool looking cactus. The whole reason why it's called that is because if you see the thorns here, or the spines, they're kind of wicked back. They're a little red, and for some reason they're decolorized, or some of them has lost the color, which is very interesting. I don't know why they've done that, because originally when I first had that cactus, it was more of a bright reddish tint to it, but for some reason it's not anymore. Interesting. I don't think this one's dying on me. I'm pretty sure it's not, because if I touched it before, I gave it a little poke. Let me grab my stick of pokiness. Yeah, this one's still kicking. This one's body is very hard, so it's not gonna die on me. So I'm pretty sure we're fine. This one I'm pretty sure is a mammillaria. I believe this one's called the mother of many because once it's a little bit more mature, it'll actually start to pop out more of itself, little cactus pups, which will be really nice to see whenever that happens. Originally, this one was actually really short, but now it's grown a lot, which is great, wonderful. I'm really happy for it. And then finally, to end, I guess, the first part of this video, we have another thimble cactus, which I got with this one, because when I first got this cactus right here, this little thimble cactus was stuck on it, on one of the thorns, and I was like, okay, cool, free cactus. So I decided to root it, and finally it's starting to show some growth after like a couple of months. So I'm really happy that we actually see some growth with this one. Oh, but you thought it was over. No. I still got some cacti left to show. So this one is the dancing bone cactus. This one is actually one that I also really wanted, that I actually got randomly. I wasn't expecting to see this one at a nursery, but thankfully I was able to find it, and I was like, oh, finally, I have a dancing bone cactus. I also decided to get a second one, just in case this one didn't survive. Also with the plans of putting these two together at some point. I think I'm going to wait until this one gets big enough, so when it does, I'll put them in one pot. And then of course we have the slumbergiras. Slumbergiras, the jungle cacti. All of these that you see right here, they're all jungle cacti, which they require different things to, to survive. They're not your typical jungle or your typical desert cacti. So they need a little bit more water, things like that. But this one is opal. This one is the Thanksgiving cactus. I still need, if I remember correctly, I still need the Christmas cactus. This one is a Thanksgiving cactus, a Easter cactus, and another Thanksgiving cactus. This one's called Ozymandias, from the poem Ozymandias, believe it or not. And this one's called Yvonne, and again, opal. I actually have some cuttings from this plant right here, and I moved it around, so you'll see some actually starting to grow here, which is great. And I moved some from there into here. I've had some problems with rot as well. I'm really happy that this one actually survived, because it was a little bit more alive, but as you can see, it actually started to grow exponentially, because at one point it wasn't moving at all. Then finally it just decided to shoot out with a lot of I guess like new growth, like new parts of the cactus, new offsets. This one especially, this one just came out of nowhere. I think around June, maybe May, it just decided, you know what, it's time to grow. It's time to grow. But the flowers in these, my goodness, the flowers in these are so great. This one should flower around November, around Thanksgiving. This one should as well. The flowers in this one are white with a little bit of red, and this one is completely red. The flowers in this one are completely red. They're very, very beautiful. And then finally, we have this cactus right here. I just decided to have them hanging out here. This one's a desert cactus, but I just recently gave it new soil, which, again, as explained earlier, you don't want it to get wet, and it was raining all week.
Bruh, peep this one. Like, really, peep this one. No more
cacti,
no more
plants,
No more.
Succulents.
No more.
Cactus.
You in black.